Yep, perfect.
Oh yeah, I think.
Perfect. I'll probably move it down for sure. Okay.
Toss this and go change. And then, do you, is it okay if I change or do you need me to do anything before that? I'm good.
It's fine. I moved it. I definitely moved it down. I did because it was up like here, which. Yeah, it just for me. I need to be able to see.
Yeah, let me. And if the microphone is still low because Pam is just a little height challenged, it'll still be okay for me. Excellent.
Sounds great.
Mic testing, 1, 2. Okay. Let's do it. Yo.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Now, let's see. Is your name in here?
I rock.
No, wait. I think you're in here.
I'm seeing.
I moved it down because I'm short. But I'm after.
Your name's in here.
Right
Hold
there.
on. Your Aisha goes
Second
for
time
you.
I'm here. Yeah, I'll do it.
Where? I could take it. Here you go. So that's Craig, and then
When I close.
you're here. Okay. You see your name?
Yeah.
And then it's the exact speech. You had it laminated?
The whole thing. Yep. That's how he gave it to me.
Okay, look at you. I like that. He had it laminated himself. He was ready. So is this good for you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Craig. Okay, I'm off that.
Okay.
All
So
right,
just
you want me
do.
to find her? I'll find her.
First paragraph. I'm gonna read up to I knew those paths. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Don't read the whole thing.
Gotcha. Alright. Good morning. Thanks, Craig. Skills for the Chicago. Oh, skills for Chicagoland future. Good morning. Let's do it. Good morning. My name. Okay. Thanks, Craig. Good morning. My name is Prophet Hill. I'm excited to be here today on stage. When I'm not welding at Freeman City, you can find me performing my music, so I like the spotlight. I was born on the west side of Chicago, and then spent my early years down in Georgia, returning to Chicago when I was 12 years old. I'm a very original and unique person, but this is where my personal story is one that is way too common in Chicago. I found myself confused, not knowing what to do. After attending Curie High School, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Most of my friends and neighbors were either working at a local fast food restaurant or selling drugs. I knew those paths weren't for me.
Good.
I like that. Yeah, I see.
Give it all away.
I see the fair. Yeah, I see the
All
fast. I'm good.
Okay.
So, all right.
It's the exact same words, right?
Yeah.
My dad, down the program. Yep. And then I was again unsure. Like this before. But I took the steps and applied. And now I'm here. My life has changed.
Feel good. Slow down a little bit, actually.
I was like, yeah, just slow down, take your time.
Right here now.
You're gonna, oh, I know it's on, but like, you'll hear echo. So just don't wait for the echo. Just keep going.
I didn't even hear it, actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can hear it
good.
up here. Yeah.
Good.
But slow down, take your time, enjoy the moment.
Exactly.
Gosh.
And like, over enunciate a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Which is the hardest thing to do.
What is
But
the family table?
your family table's like in the 20, so like 3 rows in.
I think it might be like
It's like
22 or
22
something.
or 23 over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be up there, okay?
So-
when you your dad part.
Here's the other thing.
Which table, which one?
So like the diagonal here, so like 6, 11, it's like right over there.
Okay, I got you. I see it. I'll see it.
The big thing. So you'll see yourself. Just don't watch yourself.
Don't look there.
Just don't watch yourself. All right. Just know this is what's behind you.
Got you.
Okay. So it's called the confidence monitor. Don't worry about it while it's here, but you'll be fine. All right. You look great, so don't worry about
Yeah, I seen it.
it. All right.
All right.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
So when you're done, there will be applause. Enjoy the applause. and then give Pam a hug, and it's her turn. Okay?
Gotcha.
All right?
All right.
And then he exits that way?
Yeah.
Hey, 1, 2. Check, check, check. 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey, 1, 2. Yes, 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Seats. Thank you.
macro comment I'll make is that I recently took on a new position as co-chair of the Public Safety Task Force under the Civic Committee. And I can tell you one of the central tenets of the work that we are doing is workforce. It's actually getting people into jobs from underserved communities on the South Side and the West Side in particular, which, as you know, has been the primary source for employees that we're bringing into roles through skills. So I kind of walk into that position with a deep knowledge of what the ecosystem looks like, recognizing that it is an ecosystem, that there are many different players and there are many different aspects of support that need to come together in order to allow people to be successful. And skills is at the very center of that work, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So we are now, this is our 11th year, and we are embarking on a new era. We've got a new leader who you will meet soon, Bridget Altenberg. She's absolutely freaking awesome. And it's been such an incredible pleasure to meet with her. She is the kind of person who's going to roll up her sleeves, dive into everything, and really make sure she understands before she acts. And but her energy is off the charts. Her passion for our mission is incredible and a joy to work with. So couldn't be happier with our new beginning there. And we've got a lot to do. We have a lot of expansion ideas that I think are well formed, now need to be executed, and I feel very confident about that. But most of all today is to celebrate people. It's to celebrate people that we touch, that we have been able to help. You're going to hear from two of them. I had the amazing opportunity to spend some time with them about 10 days ago, Aisha and Prophet. You'll hear from each of them. I am not going to steal their thunder, but what I will share with you is my own experience of them, which is I am in awe of these people. The grit, the commitment, the diversity of their skills, the fact that we've got a person who ended up stepping into a welding job who's actually a musician, produces music and welds at the same time. So think about that. I mean, the diversity of the different capabilities and things that get integrated in his head are amazing. And Aisha was placed many years ago and has actually been promoted a huge number of times. So her progress has been absolutely like a rocket ship. So I'm really proud to know them. I'm humbled by what they've done, and really, really, really inspired. So you'll meet them soon. I do have a few points to make here. We are actually, the theme of the breakfast is writing a new chapter in workforce equity, which I just described that we were at the beginning of this new era. It is a focus on equity, and we're going to be putting a lot more measures in place. The one thing that hasn't changed about skills, even with a change in leadership, is that we are still data focused and really clear about the outcomes that we're trying to drive. And we're using outside firms like the University of Chicago to help us make objective assessments about what we've been able to impact and what the impact of those interventions has been in terms of elevating equity in our communities. We do have a fundraising ask. This is our principal fundraiser for the year. And today we are trying to raise $40,000 in this room today. So you can text skills, the word skills, to 76278 in order to donate. It's right there. And finally, I will just leave you with a personal reflection, and that is the reason that I continue to have a sparkle in my eye and a lot of energy in my heart for this organization and what they do is once you've actually connected with someone. By the way, I'm not talking about, you don't have to connect with 1,000 people. You have to connect with a few and really understand what the impact in their lives have been for in securing a job and having a career path. It's like nothing else you will experience as a business person. So come and join the ranks of us who have had that amazing experience. And it's a very selfish endeavor because it is the most fulfilling feeling I have in life. and you'll get to experience that in just a few minutes. Thank you all for being here, and we'll move on to a video.
My first day back to Chicago, I was in a space of confusion. I was lost, feeling down on myself. Man, I didn't finish college. I'm still at my father's house. Even though I'm 20, it's a feeling. And it was all beating me down.
I ended up getting laid off, and I was out of work for about 18 months. I applied for many jobs, hundreds of jobs, and had not heard back from them. During the course of that time, I just used that time to spend with my daughter and just to, tend to my parents. My parents were getting older, so just taking care of them and everything like that. So for me, finding work was very important so that I would be able to help them.
I want to say, being young in the city of Chicago is very difficult. It is very difficult to not get into the nonsense. I'm gonna just say it like that. So you can work at fast food restaurants or you can sell drugs.
I've spent about 15 years in the nonprofit sector here in Chicago, and the thing that can solve most problems is a quality job. And so many of the issues that we face in Chicago, if somebody can get a job, get a shot at a job that can sustain their families, many of those problems can go away for them. And so that's why this is such important work.
My initial impetus to actually want to get involved with skills specifically was that in 2017, Hyatt established a goal to hire 10,000 opportunity youth by 2025. And that came out of a few years of realizing that one of the most powerful things that we can do as a company is to bring people into the workforce, but also give them a career path.
I found out about skills through a job fair at my church. I went there, I presented my resume, and it was a young lady and said, "I have the perfect job for you." From there, I received some interview prepping skills. We had meetings, and then they scheduled me for an interview with Caroline. And that's how I ended up there.
99% of the challenge that people who have barriers to employment have is employers and having a professional network. When I talk about equity, I'm talking about thinking through the barriers to equity. And so it's not just enough to say, we want to hire people that are overlooked. It's figuring out what is the barrier that's keeping them from getting overlooked.
We believe that our secret sauce and the thing that is our identifier as a workforce organization is that we are demand-sided, meaning we work with corporations first. They are our primary point of contact. We start there, and then we reverse engineer how we bring people into jobs that have career paths.
Skills calls me, they tell me I have the job. So, oh my gosh, from there it was like a release off my shoulders. Since then, since I came to Freeman, my life has gone up. As soon as I started working here, I was happy, I had something to do. Going to work is productive, everybody's cheering me on. I started working out, losing a lot of weight, rapidly. It was really nice to know it brings in the income I need for my family. If anything happens to me, I have this certification and I can get right back into it.
I started off at Caroline as a referral specialist, taking phone calls. From there, I was promoted to a team lead. I was a team lead for 5 years, and about 1.5 years ago, I became a manager 1. The job has definitely afforded me travel, home buying, and since we've been remote, I'm able to see my kids off to school, go to basketball games immediately after work. It has afforded me time at home with my children.
Since I've been at Skills, one of the things that has been such a delight is getting to know the board and the staff and the things that tie us all together. And I think the thing that ties us together the most is our belief that talent is equally distributed and opportunity is not. And our job is to make sure that we bring opportunity to that amazing talent.
If you want to see a vibrant Chicago, donate to Skills. If you want to see a community and an environment in which much more evenly distributed opportunities are making their way to all of our citizens, donate to Skills. If you're running a company and you are looking for great innovative solutions that are purpose-suited to your needs, bespoke to you, donate to Skills. And more importantly, become a hiring partner. Engage Skills to actually help you with your hiring.
There are better ways of doing things. There are better ways of hiring talent, and that talent is amazing, and it's only gonna make you better. There's no better organization to root for.
Hope, and that's what skills gave me, because I didn't see anything. And that goes back to the hard call of God, the universe, but skills came right through it.
Are you kidding me? Kyle, come on, man. You didn't put tissues up here. Good morning, everybody. I get to follow that, so you're welcome, Mark. Nothing better than kicking off the workday with a little inspiration and some frittata. I'm Bridget Altenberg. I'm the new CEO of Skills, and I promise I do have more than one suit. I knew it was the same one I wore in the video, and I didn't care, so it's fine. When I left the Army years ago, I was frustrated by my job search. Companies had no idea what I had done and or what I could do. And maybe this sounds familiar to job seekers. I applied, and I didn't hear anything. And I was one of the lucky ones. Too often, a successful job search relies on who you know and not what you can do. And too often, we overlook great talent. I've spent the last decade in workforce organizations helping connect job seekers and employers, and our job seekers often remind me of my 27-year-old self trying to navigate a hiring process that I didn't understand and that didn't understand me. And I take it personally when our talented candidates find themselves bumping up against the same obstacles. They can't get through an applicant tracking system. They don't know anyone to connect them to decision makers, or they don't have the exact right experience to meet sometimes arbitrary job requirements. It's frustrating, it's unfair, and it's bad for your business. As many of you know, Skills is different, and it's why I decided to come here. We work with employers to break down those barriers to hiring. And instead of having an in at a company, job seekers have skills. Instead of having to come from the same school as the hiring managers, we have skills. And instead of companies overlooking talent, we have skills. Skills connects great but overlooked talent with quality jobs. The lights are bright, so I don't know if she's here, so hopefully she's here. A few weeks ago, we had an event with one of our candidates and a group of employers. A Miracle, are you here today? Yay, there she is, awesome. Awesome. She said it was okay for me to tell her story. A Miracle was working in jobs where she couldn't predict her hours and when she was going to need childcare. She's got exceptional business and customer service skills, but had been told to make her resume stand out for her job search. So in order to make it stand out, she wrote her resume in pink font. Thankfully, she found Skills. And Deanna, where are you? There you are. One of our senior talent acquisitions leads helped her fix her resume, change it to black font, and get connected to our employer partner, Aon, which is where A Miracle is working. So at the event, we had a bunch of employers in the room who got to know A Miracle for who she is, somebody any company would be lucky to have on their team. And so I asked them, how many of you would hire A Miracle? Everybody raised their hand. I asked them, how many of you think her pink resume would have gotten through your hiring process? All but one dropped their hand. By the way, the one that didn't was Audrey Williams-Lee from Lurie, who is also a board member. Thank you. This is what we're up against, and this is what we have to do. I want to thank our employer partners who are doing the work to break down these barriers and bring overlooked talent to their workforce. I know it's not easy, but your efforts are how we write a new chapter on workforce equity. A chapter where race, background, or zip code don't keep someone out of a job they're qualified for. I want to challenge all of you to think about these stories, Prophet, Aisha, A Miracle, and what we can do to make hiring more fair. To be able to do our work, we rely on funding from the private sector. The private sector is what allows us to be nimble and respond at the speed of business. We have so many sponsors for today's event, so many incredible sponsors. I want to give a special thank you to presenting sponsor, Jewel Osco, and JoJo. Where's JoJo? Am I missing? Oh, God. You did that on purpose. Kate, you promised he wasn't going to come up behind me. Mark Hoplamazian and Rachel Kohler. Our champion sponsors, Hyatt Hotels Foundation, Motorola Solutions, yes, absolutely. Motorola Solutions, keep it going. And Margot and Tom Pritzker Family Foundation. Making me nervous. I want to invite one of our presenting sponsors, Jewel Osco, to the stage. Eric, would you please join me? And is he coming back? Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's a big check and a big number. Look at that.
So Jewel Osco's been around 123 years. We're not going anywhere. We've been part of Skills since 2017, and this is the team that makes it happen. So you've heard the power of a job. These are our frontline store directors, our district managers, our ops specialists, the careers that you can have at Jewel Osco, steady, growth-orientated. The folks in this room here today, as you look at it and you hear from folks that have kind of built their careers, people think, why do you want to work at a grocery store? Because it's stable, because it's fun. We have JoJo. JoJo's about 5 years old. But we can't thank Skills enough, particularly Mark, Bridget, the board, and all the support of the other employers that are out there. We're here in Chicago to stay, and we can't thank you enough for all that you've done to support us. We'll be back next year.
Flashing light. Good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This is incredible. I'll just put it in my pocket. That can't be easy, by the way. That looks like that weighs a lot, but incredible. Thank you, Jewel Osco. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, JoJo. I appreciate you not scaring me again. Thank you. Now I would like to invite our Chief Operating Officer, someone I admire and learn from every day, Pam Tully. Please come to the stage to keep the excitement going and present our first award today.
Good morning. First of all, I think I need to tell everyone what that check said.
Yeah.
For
Thank
those,
right here. Another record.
Right here, Mark. $355,000. Thank you, Jewel. $355,000. We appreciate you and all that you do. Get to the right page, sorry about that. As Bridget said, my name's Pam Tully. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Skills for Chicagoland's Future. I'm thrilled to be here to award the 2023 Champion for the Unemployed Award to Carillon Medical Benefits Management. In my role, I have the pleasure of overseeing our job placement operations, and Carillon is a leader as both a long-term partner and a company providing high-quality jobs. Carillon has been a partner of Skills for over 11 years. There's a theme here, right? A lot of our really wonderful relationships have happened over many, many years. The dedication to working with Skills since our inception and maintaining consistent hiring annually has been remarkable. Carillon also has a strong focus on internal development and career pathways that result in outstanding short and long-term retention rates, exemplified by people like Aisha, who you saw in the video, and who you'll hear from again shortly. Although they are a national company, Carillon is dedicated to hiring from Chicago's South and West Sides. Post-pandemic, they've kept the roles we typically hire for remote and have still maintained this commitment to hiring in Chicago. By reducing barriers to employment and maintaining their commitment to inclusive hiring, Carillon is a model others can follow. Please join me in welcoming Cliff Hood to the stage to accept this award on behalf of Carillon Medical Benefits Management.
Good morning, everybody. What a wonderful event. This is a really, really great event, and I did not know JoJo was going to be here. That's super exciting. Hey, JoJo. Skills for Chicagoland's Future is an amazing organization that I'm so proud to work with. And I'm very, very proud to accept this award on behalf of my team and the company, sincerely. We've been partnering with Skills and placing individuals through this program for 11 years since 2013. We've placed over 280 Skills participants during this time. Thank you. We've already exceeded our annual placement goal for 2023, and we're on track to place at least 27 folks on my team this year alone. I currently have a team of over 600 staff on my MBM team, and about 10% of that staff came to us through Skills. We're fortunate to have this very reciprocal relationship that's worked for such a long time. Skills helps us find highly qualified talent, and we help Skills place highly qualified talent. I might be accepting this award, but I did not start this. My team did. They have championed this for years and brought us to this place. The team at my table includes both Skills participants and leaders that have championed this throughout the years. Team, can you please stand so we can give you a hand? So why do we do this? Our organization is a contact center where we receive almost 500,000 calls per month from healthcare providers across the country. Team members that come to us from Skills are great at learning our processes and systems. We have a higher retention rate with Skills team members. They provide great service to our callers. Their quality scores are amazing. They are great team players. They handle the calls with care. They are highly dedicated. They've improved the culture of my team. They've improved my team. We would be a very different organization without them today. Some businesses believe that you have to choose between making the customer happy or making the employee happy. Our philosophy is we want to do both. We want to create a great place to work for our employees, and we want to deliver for our customers. Life is hard today for the average employee. For all our employees, we want to give them a fair wage, supportive culture, and good benefits, and an opportunity to grow and learn. We understand that when we provide this for team members that came to us through Skills, we're doing this and we are having a much larger impact on this community. We're giving folks who need it a chance, and they are giving us a chance, and it's working out really well. We're doing good business and truly helping individuals at the same time. In closing, I'd like to thank you again for this award. I'm thankful for the opportunity to partner with Skills. Thank you for the opportunity to help this community. But most importantly, thank you so much for sending us the amazing team members you have over the years. We are making a difference together. I'd like to introduce now one of our amazing Skill alumni, who is currently a manager one on my team, Aisha Williams.
Thank you, Cliff. Good morning, or as I like to say, great day, everyone. My name is Aisha Williams, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to attend the 2023 Employment Champions Breakfast. Thank you, Skills. It is an honor to be here today. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It's a simple phrase that millions of people have said. Some call it the golden rule. Anyone who is a parent probably remembers saying this to their children. To me, it is a guiding principle for my life. Both my personal and professional life are anchored in the service of others. I grew up in the Austin area on Chicago's West Side. From there, I attended Lane Technical High School. I attended NIU, where I received my degree in psychology. And at one point, I even wanted to be a social worker. I started my career in the nonprofit and education spaces. I earned my nursing assistant certification and moved into healthcare administration and the insurance industry. I was able to tap into my passion for serving others every day, talking with practitioners and therapists about care procedures and client benefits. No matter how their day was going, I was proud to be a bright spot when they talked to me. Unfortunately, in 2013, I was let go and found myself out of work for 18 months. Not being someone to sit around, I took this detour to support my ill parents and spend more time with my children and family. Not knowing where to turn, I went to a job fair at my church. There was a person there from Skills for Chicagoland's Future. We talked, and they looked at my resume and said they may have a job opportunity for me. What was surprising is that the person saw my skills and experience and believed that I would be a great match. I really didn't know if I was really qualified for the job, considering it was in a call center, an area in which I didn't have experience in. But the time the skills team took getting to know me and understanding my background helped me believe in myself and see what they saw in me. With the support of Skills, I interviewed and was hired at Caroline. Over my time working at Caroline, I have been promoted multiple times and now oversee a team of 20 referral specialists, the role I was hired into almost 10 years ago. It is so fulfilling to be able to help people who are in a similar position, grow in their careers, treating them with respect and support comparable to what I received when I first started at Caroline. Caroline has helped me so much along the way, from their professional development and career pathways to the perks and benefits like working remotely so that I can see my children off to school or attend basketball games after work. I can see the difference my career has afforded me compared to my parents. I have purchased a home, and I am able to expose my children to travel and other opportunities much earlier in life. Thank you, Skills. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Greg Beckley and Cliff Hood, for giving me this opportunity to stand before you today. Thank you to Yolanda McIntyre, my forever buddy. Thank you to Kendra Yarbrough, the hiring manager, who is now my director at this time. And last but not least, thank you to my family for all your love and support. I could not have made it this far without you. Hi, sister. Thank you to everyone else who has helped me along my journey. Let us all remember to take every opportunity to serve others and treat them the way you would like to be treated. Thank you.
So after that, you gotta text skills. 76278. Text to donate. That was incredible. I mean, just incredibly humbling. Thank you, Aisha. But seriously, do that. Look at, we got a whole thing going. We're so close to our goal. So yeah, be part of this. Let's get that number up there. We are gonna now switch to our panel. First, well, hang on, let's make sure we get the names to go a little bit longer. Yep, oh, we want to see numbers changing too. Come on, more numbers. I think it takes a second, so. There we go, okay, that's fine. They're gonna change. It's like a little slow internet. It's fine, it's good. Awesome, so we're gonna have a little panel here of these incredible experts. We're going to talk about the economic impact from macro to micro. I'd like to first introduce our panel. Ralph Martiri, the Executive Director at the Center for Tax and Budget Accountability. With wrist, elbow, elbow, excellent. Marisa Navarra, Vice President of Community Impact at the Chicago Community Trust. You got groupies here? Malika Myers, Chief Human Resources Officer at Hyatt Hotels Corporation. You got groupies too. Good. So I didn't know we were supposed to bring groupies, so we got to work on that, guys. Let's start with Ralph. The pandemic impacted our city probably more than any event in the last century, but it certainly didn't impact us equally. Can you share some thoughts about the racial and economic disparity we're seeing 3 years later and policies that can help reduce the disparity?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Whenever we go through something like a hurricane or a pandemic or whatever, it certainly creates a lot of hardship, but I think it also exposes a lot of pre-existing hardship. And that's really where we have an opportunity to make change, is if we understand what the data tell us. And it's interesting, at the end of the pandemic, so we went through all that job loss, we saw some pretty staggering numbers from an unemployment standpoint in Chicago. The unemployment rate for whites actually wasn't that bad. It was just under 4%. For blacks, it was over 16%. For Latinos, it was over 7.5%. Fast forward to the end of 2020. Those numbers have come down, frankly, except for whites. The unemployment rate for whites has gone up to 6.1%, but the unemployment rate for blacks in Chicago, this is Chicago data, is still 12.7%. And that differential between whites and blacks is far worse than the differential at the national level. And in fact, it's one of the highest differentials you see. Now, why would that be? And you look at the intersection of sort of public policy and the private sector economy, and you could see a lot of reasons for that in Chicago. Historic segregation, heck, as recently as 1976, the Supreme Court ruled that the Chicago Housing Authority, in complicity with the Federal Housing Authority, was still siting public housing units on a segregated basis to maintain segregation. That had been going on for generations. It was the official policy. And in Illinois, that had some real consequences. So in Illinois, we have historically tied things like education funding far more to local property taxes than any other state. In fact, today, we still cover about 62% of the cost of public education with local resources rather than state resources. Well, if for generations you've segregated blacks into low-income communities with low property values, they've had underfunding for their education. So they don't get to develop the numeracy literacy skills at the same rate as their white peers, to go on and credential themselves at the next level. And when you look at the modern economy, 63% of all new job openings require some sort of college degree. So this gets exposed when you have a pandemic, right? And you see these very challenging numbers. And I think it creates a guidepost for what we'd have to do at both the public sector level and at the private sector level. So at the public sector level, we have to ensure that our core structures aren't reinforcing historic discrimination. So this is education, healthcare, housing, economic development. And what we do see when we do an analysis of these structures, both at the city of Chicago level and at the state level, is that there are flaws in our public system that are actually reinforcing historic discrimination. So we need to break down these systemic flaws, rebuild the public sector investment in these core services in a way that counters rather than reinforces past discrimination. Those are all long-term solutions. In the short term, you have to make sure that there are opportunities for investment to go into underserved communities that actually provide the private sector with a realistic incentive to get involved. Let's talk about one thing there, vacant property. In vacant property in communities of concentrated poverty, nothing good happens. Crime centers, drug centers, gang centers. The problem with reclaiming them is frequently because of a bunch of different laws and policies like prevailing wage and zoning ordinances, et cetera. The cost of acquiring and developing a vacant property in an area of concentrated poverty ends up pricing that property out of the market value in that community. So you've created this long-term cycle where it's very difficult for the private sector to actually play its role and make an investment and create jobs and opportunities. This is where the public sector can work innovatively with the private sector, right? And say, look, we'll cover that differential between fair market value of the property in that community and your rehab cost to give you a real incentive to come in and make the investment and reclaim this vacant property. That's just one way to do it, but the data really are there to create guideposts for future action at the public sector level.
Awesome, thank you, Ralph. Marisa, you've studied the impact of segregation on our city, which Ralph alluded to. Today, the unemployment rate for young black women is over 50%. I'm gonna say that again, because that's a shocking statistic. The unemployment rate for young black women in Chicago is over 50%, 10 times higher than their white counterparts. What are some of the barriers to employment, and what can we do to remove barriers to support lowering black unemployment for young people?
Yeah, I'm really glad to have a chance to kind of draw a connection between our built environment and employment opportunities, because that might not be immediately obvious, and I think it is really important. So earlier this year, Brown University kind of re-crowned Chicago as the country's most segregated city. That's not a title we want, but that's what we got. And when you look at a map of Chicago of segregation by race and income, it brings to mind, to me, a question raised by Yale sociologist Monica Bell. Looking at Chicago's segregation, she said, does this look like a place where people have residential freedom? I think we have to grapple with the answer to that being no. So what does that have to do with employment? It matters in two ways, right? One is if you imagine someone who lives on the southwest side and they get a job at O'Hare, right? Jobs juggernaut. This is not uncommon that this might be a place where you can finally get a job. And after taking a bus to the Orange Line, to the Blue Line, and spending 3 hours commuting every day for a couple weeks, you say, okay, this isn't gonna work. Let me see if I can move closer. And then you look at housing on the northwest side and you realize that there's lots of places on the northwest side where far less than 2% of their housing is affordable. By the way, there's parts of the South Side that are more than 40% affordable. That's how inequitably distributed affordable housing is across our city, right? And so it makes it very, very hard for people to take opportunities if they can't be nimble when those opportunities arise. So just as I think we want people to have the ability to have lots of options about where they live, depending on job opportunities and school opportunities, it's also just as important that we're saying we need to bring jobs to people who need them in the places where they already live as well. And so we have that's where the segregation map kind of cuts both ways. One is it's sometimes very hard to live affordably in places where there are jobs. And then where people can potentially live more affordably, there aren't very many well-paying family supporting jobs. So both of those things we need to solve for, right? You asked about barriers. I mean, I just spoke about several of them. Another one is just housing instability in general, but also things this crowd knows well, like lack of affordable or unstable childcare, lack of access to technology. Certainly if you're someone returning from jail or prison, there's a whole another set of barriers that many in this room have been working on addressing. So those are, I'll stop there. I know we'll get to more uplifting parts, but those are some of the barriers for sure.
Awesome, thank you. So we're gonna get to the fixing those.
Yes.
Malika, often employers create unintentional barriers in their hiring practices. We talked about one with the pink resume. What are some of the things that can be done to remove barriers, and what's Hyatt doing to be a leader in this space?
Yeah, I hope this is the uplifting, the uplifting part, or at least some pragmatic sort of ideas that we can share. The first thing I'd say, and Mark alluded to this when he kicked off this morning, one of the things that we've done is to set aspirations for ourselves. So setting out and saying we want to hire 10,000 opportunity youth by 2025 really helps you focus the organization on what is it going to take for us to do that. So one thing I'd encourage is setting some aspirations so that you really focus the whole organization on it. And then from a practical standpoint, I'd give kind of three things that we've done that are relatively small but collectively have a big impact. So one example is that we took a step back and realized we had an application, like the actual application online, that was unbelievably long. It took people 10 to 15 minutes to fill out our application. And our abandonment rate was high because people didn't want to spend 10 to 15 minutes, maybe didn't even have 10 to 15 minutes to do that. So we revamped it, and now it takes you 2 minutes to fill out the application. So simple things, but that help us get more people kind of into our applicant pool. Another thing that we've done is to take a look at our job profiles. We're looking at things like, do we actually have to have a degree? That's one aspect of it. But also, we actually engaged an outside organization to sort of help us look at how we were describing our jobs. And were we doing it in a way that was, inclusive? And were we really highlighting the things that were important to candidates? So we did A/B testing to say which of these profiles actually drives more candidates to come through. And the other thing that we've done, which I'm particularly proud of, is you mentioned maybe earlier that sometimes women and people of color feel like they have to have all the job qualifications in order to apply for a job. And we've put on our job postings, if you go to Hyatt.jobs and you look for a job posting, you'll see at the bottom, we say, research tells us that women and people of color feel like they have to have every box tick in order to apply. If this is something you think you're interested in, we're encouraging you to apply. And we see that actually we've seen an increase in the diversity of our applicants strictly because we've said, hey, if you think you're close, throw your hat in the ring. We want to get to know you. So that's another great example. And maybe the third, I'd say, for us in our industry, and particularly thinking about some of the underserved communities who may not have access to a hotel, right? Who may never have stayed in a hotel, and so don't have the experience of even understanding what might a job in this industry look like. So we've created a series of virtual reality, short, watch it on your phone, day in the life, like what does it look like in the hotel? What happens? What kind of jobs are there? Just so that you can start to expose people to sort of what the possibilities are. So those are some really practical examples of things we're doing to try to remove barriers and open up the aperture so that we get more flow through, particularly of communities who, and people who might not necessarily have thought of us.
Yeah, that's good. I think one of the things that I want to pull out there is, was it Marisa or Ralph that said 60% of jobs were requiring a bachelor's degree? That was you, because you're the number guy. Yeah, okay. Nerd. It's okay. We love nerds here. And that one of the things Hyatt did is take a look at when is that really needed. I mean, that's something we should all be doing. I remember looking at a career coach job at my last position that required a bachelor's degree, and we hired somebody with a kinesiology bachelor's degree because that had been a requirement. What the heck does that have to do with being a career coach? So clearly it's an arbitrary thing that can very quickly remove that barrier that many people have. So go home and do that, okay? Please go back to work and do that. Marisa, the wealth gap in Chicago is staggering, with Black and Latino families having 8 cents on the dollar compared to white families. Like, I'm gonna say that one again, 8 cents on the dollar. What are some ways philanthropy can bring public and private sectors together to reduce the wealth gap?
You may know that the Chicago Community Trust goal is to close the racial and ethnic wealth gap in Chicago. We're focused on that in lots of ways. We're looking at small business and home ownership, but we're absolutely looking at income as well. And we began a focused funding effort called Income Growth Solutions. Skills for Chicagoland's Futures is a recipient under that. And I do want to recognize Caleb Herod, who's here from the Trust, who leads that work. Thank you, Caleb. And I want to just quickly run through the 3 parts of that, because I think they really matter to this conversation. One is about advancing education, and we have a really cool program with city colleges and lots of ways that we're trying to help people into post-secondary degrees, whether that's associates or bachelor's or what have you. Knowing that in Chicago, Black people with a post-secondary degree are 2 times more likely to have a full-time job. With Latinx, it's 1.6 times more likely. So why does a full-time job matter? In part, it's the income itself is more, but also because in this country we tie so many things to employment. Of course, that matters so much as well, because another prong in this approach is helping people build assets, not only income, but assets. And you're much more likely to have access to, for instance, a saving for retirement if you have a full-time job as opposed to part-time, much more likely to be able to build a savings account, things of that nature. So those are some of the things that we fund through this effort, and I think those are really, really important. I know that there is also a lot of appetite from our president, Andrea Sayans, and from the board just around investing in the job creation process as well. And I think that's really important to name as well as supporting philanthropically. There's also a lot of investment to be done, and I know there's a lot of appetite for that going forward.
Cool, thank you. Ralph, retention has been a hot button issue for a while now. First we had the Great Resignation and quiet quitting. It seems clear that finding and keeping quality talent is hard, and there's a division between what employees and employers feel is a quality job. I'm going to give you numbers because I know you like this stuff. So, Ernst & Young study found that salary is a top concern for 35% of employees, and 58% of employers think staff will stay in their roles over fears about the economy. Almost 4 in 10 Gen Z employees and a third of millennials said they would look for a new job in the next year, with about half of employees not worrying about changing jobs if there's an economic slowdown. So there's a lot going on there. So Ralph, do you think retention is an overblown topic, or is that a real concern?
Let me think about it, yes. It is definitely a real concern, and all the national numbers sort of bear that out. I'm going to throw a couple more numbers. The job opening and labor turnover survey found that every month in America, 3 to 4.5 million people quit their job. try to move on to something else. Other data show us that for new employees, a third of them tend to quit their jobs within 6 months. Now that's really a cost for the private sector employer, right? Because anywhere because of training, lost capacity, et cetera, it costs somewhere between a third to 50% of the person's salary you are replacing to find and onboard and bring in the new person. So this is a real challenge. And the question is, why is it going on? And I think a lot of it is the disconnect, frankly, between what employees view as a quality job and what employers think is what's needed. So a little more understanding on quality of life issues, I think, goes a long way. We see a lot of surveys indicating people want more time off for family matters. It's really important. They don't necessarily want to be harassed on the weekend at home. Pay actually matters, employers, sorry, but it does. It's usually high up on the list. And so there are a number of things that's just sort of a disconnect where maybe employers could get a better understanding of what their employees need to address part of the issue. I think the other part of the issue is making sure that the pipeline of workers coming into different jobs have adequate skill sets. And that's where the public sector needs to play a better role than it has. And I'm going to, good old Illinois in a perfect world would have greatly funded skills and schools and no inequities, et cetera. We don't live in a perfect world. We do live in Illinois. And until the state changed its school funding formula a few years ago, which actually I co-authored that legislation for the Black Caucus, we had a gap in funding per pupil for between a white kid and a black kid in Illinois attending an underfunded school of over $1,500 per pupil, $1,500 worse for the black kid. Since the evidence-based model's been in place, that gap has closed to about $350. Now, that's big progress, but it's only been around for 5 years. You don't turn around an entire education system in 5 years. You need a couple of cohorts of kids to go through. So building those numeracy, literacy skills at K-12, I think, is essential. Reducing the cost of college for low-income populations generally and black and brown kids specifically. And here there's some hope in Illinois. The state has appointed a commission to create a funding formula for higher ed. It'd be a first ever funding formula for public institutions of higher ed. It is focused on equity. The bad news is the Supreme Court's decision in the Harvard University, North Carolina case creates a lot of issues about what the public sector could do. But if you take a data-based analysis, the issue of race is so hard to talk about. But if you take a data-based analysis, you see these consistent discrepancies by race that cannot be described by independent labor market factors, independent choices. They are literally systemic problems. Yeah. So we need to make the investments in changing our systems to turn this around long term.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, Malaika, bring us home. No pressure. You've got 2 minutes. But I know you can do it. What tactics are you using to help keep employees?
Okay, 2 minutes. Maybe two things I'd talk about. First I'd say that I agree with a lot of what Ralph said in terms of like what colleagues are, and we call our employees colleagues, so you'll hear me use that word, what our colleagues are looking for. But maybe two things I'd focus on. One is the whole area of learning, development, and growth. Starting from helping to make sure people have the skills to do the job well, because sometimes we find when we have turnover, particularly in that first 3 to 6 months, is because either people didn't understand the job they were signing up for, or they didn't feel like they had the capability, right, to do it well. So we've got a huge focus on those first 90 days of really making sure we get people set up for success, but then also painting a picture. It's one of the things Skills actually brought to us. They brought to us data that said one of the reasons we were experiencing turnover early for some of the candidates that we brought in is because they didn't feel like they understood what their future looked like. And it was a real learning for us that while we were focused on, here's your job and let us help you to understand how to do it, we also have to we have to do that, but we also have to share with them what the future looks like. So we've made some changes based on that information to really start to help people understand their growth trajectory. And then the second thing I'll mention very quickly is we've got a real focus on listening and acting on feedback. So we do a colleague experience survey. It's done on a quarterly basis so we can understand the feedback that we're getting from how do we, and our purpose as a company is to care for people so they can be their best. So we're really focused on how do we care for them, and so we ask them. And then we've got a huge focus on making sure that we're actually acting on the feedback and the data that they give us.
That's, please, of course.
Super, super fast. I also, I love that, and I want to just add one thing, which is that we all, in every sector, all over, we all have to be accountable for our outcomes, not our intent, right? So if our hiring practices are screening people out, change them.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. That, I knew you guys could bring it home, so thank you so much to our panel. Let's give them a big round of applause. Amazing. That was incredible. I learned a lot. Hopefully y'all learned a lot. I'd like to invite to the stage our Vice President of Business Development, Susan Dunseth.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know about you, but I leave this breakfast every year with a little more pep in my step, a little more inspiration and excitement, and I hope all of you feel that way as well. As Bridget mentioned, I'm Susan Dunseth, the Vice President of Business Development at Skills, and I have the pleasure to present this year our 2023 Champion for Community Impact Award to Friedman Seating Company. In recognition of their efforts to bring equity and opportunity to Chicago's West Side through their manufacturing facility. Friedman Seating purposefully invested in Chicago's West Side, moving operations to their present location on the border of the Austin and Humboldt Park neighborhoods in 1999. Friedman Seating's dedication to the local community is clear. They employ over 600 people in production manufacturing, engineering, sales, and other administrative roles. Of all employees, 75% live in the city of Chicago, as do both the CEO and chairman. Additionally, people of color and women make up 85% of the workforce. Lastly, Friedman Seating is a partner with the many workforce organizations across the city, leading by example to hire individuals from a variety of programs, including the co-occupancy of Jane Addams Resource Corporation Training Center inside their facility. Please join me in welcoming Craig Friedman, CEO of Friedman Seating Company, to the stage to accept this award.
Thank you. Great. Good morning. Bridget, this is my only suit. I work in a manufacturing facility. On behalf of Friedman Seating Company, I'm deeply honored to accept the Champion for Community Impact Award. I want to thank our incredible team at Friedman Seating Company, who's sitting over there. You can stand up. Especially the candidates we've hired from Skills, such as the amazing Prophet, who you're going to hear more from today and you've already heard from, and our HR team. Your dedication and hard work are the heart of our success. Our partnership with Skills has been transformative. We've been with them a decade, and they've connected us with exceptional candidates,
who've not only contributed to our success, but have also uplifted the west side of Chicago. In Austin and West Humboldt, where we reside, we've seen underserved communities filled with untapped potential. This award reaffirms our commitment to creating lasting change and providing opportunities. I'm immensely grateful to Skills for their support in empowering the West Side and being on the West Side and the South Side and all of Chicago. Together, we're building a brighter future for the West Side of Chicago. And now I'd like to introduce my team member and Skills alumnus, Prophet Hale, to the stage.
Thank you. Good morning. That'll do it. Give me a second. So yeah, thanks, Craig. All right. Good morning. My name is Prophet Hill. I'm excited to be here today on stage. When I'm not welding at Freeman Seating, you can find me performing my music, so I love the spotlight. I was born in the west side of Chicago and spent my early years down in Georgia, returned to Chicago when I was 12 years old. I'm a very original and unique person, but this is where my personal story is one that is way too common in Chicago. I found myself confused, not knowing what to do. After attending Curie High School, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Most of my friends and neighbors were either working at a local fast food restaurant or selling drugs. I knew those paths weren't for me. My dad signed me up with a program with Iman, Inner City Muslim Action Network on 63rd in California. I have never heard of them, but I needed a job. I needed money, and they have a program called Weekend Warriors. Weekend Warriors is a trade program in partnership with Richard Daley College. They teach you how to run machines, lathes, drill presses, etc. Welding, too. It is a great program, and I learned a lot. But I wasn't in the right mental and emotional space to take the required next steps, and I had to leave the program. I was again in a space of confusion, unsure what to do. I was 20 years old, at home, unsure what to do next. Thankfully, my family continued to help me find my way. My dad connected me with another organization, Ulan Resource Center. Shout out Isan. They said that I should apply to jobs through Skills for Chicagoland's future. I thought, all right, sounds good, okay? I've been sold on a lot of promises, so. But I took the steps and applied with Skills. A week later, I get a call and email, both. Oh my God, for Skills, saying that there's a job with Freeman Seating that I'd be a fit for. And now here I am. My life has changed completely since I started working at Freeman. I love my job as a welder. It is challenging work, but it provides me with the income and stability that I need. I love it. Freeman Seating is also a company that really cares about their employees. They have a gym on site, which I love, please believe, and different opportunities to help me continue to grow. I want to give a special thank you to my father. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Stand up. Please. All right. That'll do it. Yeah, that's him. Over. Yeah. Man. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. Thank you for choosing Lakeisha to be my mother. She is the best. I swear. Thank you for honesty. Thank you for strength and discernment. So, you guided me through all my challenges, shortcomings, and weaknesses. You are not only a father to me, but to also many others. I point that out because in this day and age, there are many people who think that young black men in Chicago don't have fathers who truly are there for their kids. And this man continues to provide his presence and wisdom beyond measure to the whole Chicago, believe me. Being a young black man in Chicago is very difficult. I'm just going to say it like that. We owe it to young people across the city, this city, to support each other and organizations that care about Chicagoans. Skills gave me hope. I couldn't see what my future would look like, and they helped light the path for me. Thank you, Skills. Thank you, Freedman Seating, for this opportunity. And shout out JoJo. Oh, by the way, yeah. Thank you.
First, I have to follow JoJo and a big check. Now I have to follow Prophet. I don't know what I did to get put in this position, but whew, okay, I'll do my best. Working together is how you get things done. And we appreciate all that we do in collaboration with all of our community-based partners. It's my pleasure to honor one of those outstanding partners today by presenting the 2023 Advocate for the Unemployed Award to the Greater Englewood Community Development Corporation. GECDC has been a partner since 2021. They are supportive in connecting to local stakeholders and community influencers, helping to spread positive messaging regarding skills' role with employers and in support of local job seekers. Most notably, Skills' Englewood office is located in GECDC space at 63rd and Halsted. The space allows us to expand our footprint to reach more job seekers while reducing transportation barriers for those job seekers. From Southside job fairs to partners on grants, GECDC has been a vital partner to have that truly cares about the future of the South Side and its residents. Now I'd like to invite Derek Warren, Executive Director of the Greater Englewood Community Development Corporation, to the stage to accept this award.
Okay.
There's cameras all over.
If I can help someone as I travel along, if I can help someone with a word or a song, if I can keep someone from doing wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. This is the implied mantra not only of Greater Englewood Community Development Corporation, but also for Skills for Chicagoland's future. We are honored to receive this award, and on behalf of Skills, for their advocacy at a time when advocacy is not lifted up, at a time where diversity, equity, and inclusion no one wants to talk about. They want to erase it from the thoughts of mind. So we honor Skills for their courage to advocate those who are impeding and embracing barriers, those who are disinherited, the marginalized. For them looking past and widening their scope, I think we owe Skills a hand for their advocacy. Greater Englewood Community Development Corporation
815 West 63rd Street in the heart of Inglewood. For those historians in here, 63rd and Halsted, approximately 60 years ago, was second to downtown as the biggest shopping hub in Chicago. Sears, Webolt's, you name it. They had the stores on 63rd and Halsted. But due to redlining, due to disinvestment, that is no longer the case. But through CDC, through my other community stakeholders, we are working hard to ensure that we empower, that we bring back the Inglewood community and ensure that everyone knows that Inglewood is on the rise. Greater Inglewood CDC, we focus on small business development, workforce development, and real estate development to rebrand, to rebuild, and to revitalize the community, to widen our scope, to ensure that we become instruments of transformation for those who we serve. So it was just an honor to be able to be interconnected with skills, with Pam Tully and our good friend Tabitha Cobb, I'm sure she's here somewhere, to be able to bring them to the south side of Chicago and to work together, to be able to write a new chapter for workforce development equity. And so on behalf of Greater Inglewood CDC, our staff, our board, we are truly honored to receive this wonderful award. We look forward to continue to work together to advocate for the least of these, for the marginalized, to be able to lift up the voice to the voiceless, to ensure that we can instill, have what we are here today to do, to ensure that we can help someone along the way as we travel along, that we can help someone with a word or a song, that we can keep someone from doing wrong so that our living shall not be in vain. Thank you so much for this wonderful honor.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry. We'll make sure it gets to you. We know where you live. Thank you so much, Derek. It's been great being a part of the Englewood community. Every time I'm at our Englewood offices, I see that community coming together, and your support really made that possible. As you've seen and heard today, our work has a huge impact on the lives of so many people. We are going to ask for one last opportunity for you to help us with that impact, to help somebody along, as Derek said. Your donations are critical to helping amazing overlooked talent like Aisha and Prophet, incredible people who were just overlooked, and a miracle, getting them connected to quality jobs, and we need your help to keep going. Please, this is your last chance. Get your phone out, text skills, SKILLS, to 76278. This is a wonderful organization, and private donations really help us be nimble. It's really, really important for us to have that support. So thank you so much for those of you that have donated and those of you that are donating as I speak. Let's see can we see where we are with our goal? Oh, look at that. What? Oh my God. I think it was those last few people there. Got us right over that. 102%. Way to go, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really, really beautiful. I want to close by thanking our speakers, Aisha, Prophet. Your words really inspired and moved us all, and I'm never going to forget you. I want to thank our panelists for your expertise and insights, as well as your continued work to move this work forward, and especially to the Sheraton for hosting us today. A huge thank you to Mark Hoplamazian for his unwavering dedication, his support, and just being an authentic and awesome guy. Can I ask the board of directors to stand up? Is that okay? I know you guys have tags on, but. You know, I've been in the nonprofit community here in Chicago for about 15 years, and a little secret, one of the things that CEOs complain about the most is their board. So this really is truly an honest moment here. I have the best board in Chicago. A special thank you as well to our Employment Champions Breakfast Event Committee, Claudia Saran and Mark Kendall. Where's Mark? I think half of you were invited by Mark. Mark Kendall, thank you so much. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize this skills team. If you could all please also stand up. It's been 3 months since I came to Skills, and I can honestly say this is the best team I've ever had the honor to lead. Thank you to all of you, especially our marketing development teams, for all your hard work to pull off this event. Let's give them all another round of applause. Oh, and Friday's a day off. That's how I get my groupies. Okay. Last but not least, thank you to each of you for joining us today. Your support for our work makes this possible, but don't hurry out of here. Feel free to stick around and network or track down one of our awesome Skills staff or board members to discuss how can you deepen your partnership with us. And join us next year, we got the date? Tuesday, September 10th, for our 2024 Employment Champions Breakfast. Thank you. No, it's September actually, next year, yeah. We're moving it up, yeah. Thank you and have a great rest of the day.